Well, welcome, everyone. Take these first moments to check in with your body and make any adjustments needed so that you're comfortable. I do suggest, by the way, that you do these meditations in a seated position if that's okay with your body. Meditation is meant to be both relaxed but also very awake. And when we lie down, there can be a tendency to get sleepy and even to fall asleep. And while that's lovely to sleep and to have naps, that's not why we're here today. So if you can, just every week when you come, see if you can make the place where you're sitting that much more inviting and comfortable. And over time, you'll see that the body will be able to settle nicely. And it's also about the musculature turning on in this seated position. So some of us might get a little bit of discomfort in the shoulders and the upper back. But in time, that too will progress in such a way that you can sit comfortably for longer and longer periods of time. And as we all come together here with the intention of being connected to our inner world, we can remember that we are together in this and that we have the support of the community. And sometimes just at the beginning, turning your screen onto gallery and seeing the faces of the other people who are interested in connecting to themselves in this way. And even though we may be in different parts of the province and even the country, we are connected through the great consciousness. And so feeling your body settling here in your chair. Acknowledging that parts of you might be settling quite nicely and other parts sometimes resist. Sometimes the body comes into comfort quite easily, and other times the body might feel a little bit agitated. Know that any state that arises is welcome in the generous space of meditation. Meditation has the space, the room for everything that arises. And as always, it's about noticing that which doesn't change. So the presence that you are in the midst of all that is moving and changing, which is life. I invite you to listen with eyes closed, or sometimes it feels good to open the eyes and to practice staying connected innerly, even as our visual field gets filled with whatever is around us. But for most of us, as we learn to attune more and more precisely with our inner experience, it is helpful to set aside the visual field for a bit. So let's connect with our breath, this reliable rhythm that has been a friend, really, from the beginning of our time here. And when we were very little ones, we didn't know the word breath. We didn't even know the word chest and any of the words that we would associate now with breath, lungs. So what if you were to connect to your breath as though for the first time, where there's no labels, there's no it should be this way or that way. And that's how you would have approached it as a little one, very innocently, very open. And that perspective, that willingness to be open to what is still available in each one of us. So connecting to the breath with a beginner's mind as though for the first time, over and over again. A newborn would have no access to evaluation or comparison. And so the breath is being given permission to move just as it's moving, without the constraints of should. And then we can engage with it with curiosity. With relaxation, because there's nothing to do. There's nothing to fix. And if the habits of the mind come in, that's okay. Let them come, let them go. Right now, we are presencing the breath just as it is. And so we can gently and kindly remind ourselves of that. And then from the sensory experience of the breath moving through the body, we can expand the lens of our awareness to include the whole physical body and include any sensations that are here today. And in the same way, what is it like to be in a body without naming things, shoulder and head and legs and feet and hands, and without adding on evaluation? It becomes very simply a symphony of sensations. experience moment to moment to moment. And once we've entered into the territory of the physical body, there's a natural tendency for awareness to begin to pick up more and more subtle sensations. It's like the whole field becomes magnified and we're picking up more and more sensations from the energetic and from the feeling and emotional realm. And so you can let that happen. Let awareness take you where it does. So some of us might notice these micro tensions in areas where we know that we hold stress, for example. So opening to that and including that, again, with this very innocent mind that doesn't really know anything. Everything is being experienced for the first time. And in that way, what we encounter becomes very innocent as well. So the tension in your jaw or the holding in your belly, the heaviness in the heart, the swirling in the gut, or whatever you're feeling is really just another sensation being added to this symphony of sensation. And noticing for yourself how this affects your overall sense of being. When we let the mind rest from its tendency to evaluate and compare, it actually feels more relaxing because there's less battles going on inside of our experience, less division. And you may notice that it also feels more comfortable, more at home, right here in your body. where everything is given the right to exist exactly as it is, because we're willing to not know how it's supposed to be. And from the perspective of presence, how it's supposed to be is how it is. But only the perspective of presence has that kind of understanding. It can pull itself far enough back to see how everything that's unfolding in your being is part of the great mystery, a great harmonious mystery. And so as we open to our experience with a willingness to view it with innocence, with suspending, labeling, and evaluating, there can be a natural tendency to just begin to feel a greater sense of ourselves, a sense of ourselves as presence, as pure awareness, as spaciousness, openness. So let's allow ourselves to steep in that for a little bit. The more that we spend time in this place of presence, openness, spaciousness, the more it becomes an accessible place from which to live our lives. As we practice connecting to our moments and to the details of our moments with this innocence, this willingness to suspend any add-ons that the mind might want to bring forth. As we practice this and we create more and more space, many energies that might have been hiding below the surface for fear of being judged or evaluated might come forth. This is a very inviting place for the subconscious to stream into. Which makes it such that in our meditation practice, there may be moments of great peace and spaciousness, and then all of a sudden, seemingly, something difficult arises. And often we will interpret that as I've done something wrong, but actually you've done something right. You've created a space from which all of these things that have been hidden can now come forth to be welcomed back into consciousness so that they can play their part in your return to wholeness. And so these are the times where we can tend to abandon our meditation practice because we might have this idea, and again, this is an idea that comes through conditioning, that meditation is supposed to always be peaceful and spacious and pleasant. But it's actually a combination, and peaceful and pleasant is just as valid as, or rather, I was going to say, unpleasant and difficult is just as valid as peaceful and pleasant. Meditation doesn't discriminate. And so this is the choice point when a challenging energy, maybe accompanied by a memory, comes forth. What if you were to see that also with this innocent perspective, the one that's willing to let go of everything you think you know about the situation, the person, the feeling? And so you can even just call to mind something that has been a little bit of a struggle in your life right now. Maybe not a huge struggle, but something that's maybe a 6 out of 10, something like that. Practice with that. And just kind of call it to mind and notice what feelings arise, what tension in the body, how it might change the breath, how it might activate the mind. And can you stay back here in the witness place? And just allow it to come just as it is, with all the details that come with it. And notice for yourself that they will shift and change and move all on their own. And just leaning back into the sense of spacious presence while all of that unfolds all by itself. the doer is given permission to rest, to see with the light of presence how that can affect our challenges, how in time we'll see that it is the ultimate of solutions. Take these final moments to simply rest in silence. Namaste.